And let's see what's behind door number. What is that? Corey pounced around the corner, ready to find something exciting, and what she found was a body. Which, in a former den of crime, might not seem so surprising, but Nuletia had always been unique in that death wasn't really permanent, and so finding an actual body was cause for confusion and alarm. Corey reflexively looked around her. She would claim it's to make sure there were no witnesses, although in reality, she was looking to see if there was anyone who could help. There was not. So Corey tentatively took a few steps closer towards the figure. They were an oddity for Nuletia, not just because they were a body, but because they were dressed in rustic farmer attire with dirt running across their hands and face as if they had just gotten off of a busy day of work. Even more peculiar, Corey could see, under the surface of their skin, a little bubble moving around. Corey looked around for something that she could use to examine this bump, but from a safe distance. And with a 13, she found an old piece of track left over from the roller coaster's more deadly days. All right, buddy, now you're just gonna feel a little poke. Corey grabbed her rod and poked at the bump. She didn't know what she expected, but it certainly didn't include the rod going clean through the person's body as if it wasn't there at all. And it most definitely didn't include a small black glass spider emerging on the end of the rod when she pulled it out. Whoa, 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 whoa. Corey threw down the rod in front of her, making sure that the spider, which she definitely was not afraid of, was on the far end. Okay, well, this was, fun. You know, that game actually doesn't sound so bad after all, Corey proclaimed to no one in particular, making a notable stride as she turned around and found herself face to face with a man, presumably, in massive, shining obsidian glass armor, with a massive Viking-style helmet adorned with devilish horns that curled towards the sky, and a shadow covering his face. Well, hey there, tall, dark, and handsome. You wouldn't happen to be interested in the story of Ellie Badge, would no? Okay. Corey reflexively stood back as the figure, in response to her query, pulled out a warhammer whose head was the size of her entire body. As Corey stood back, almost tripping over the body, she continued to do the only thing she knew how, spin words. Listen, I'm flattered. I really, really am. But, I'm just really, not really kind of interested, and, I've just got so much going on right now. I just not the kind of emotionally available. Corey's ramblings were cut off again as the figure slammed the hammer down on her. Pretty poorly, honestly. I'm over here, right? Corey was relieved for a second. The figure slammed the hammer down feet away from her, and if it was this bad at its aim, then, well, it wasn't this bad at its aim, because Corey saw, as the warhammer lifted up, that it wasn't aiming for her at all, but instead at the small black glass spider, which absorbed itself into the head of the warhammer, making its mass grow just a little bit bigger. Oh, your aim is very good then. Well, this has been fun, but it was time for Corey to run. Well, Corey's got herself in a bit of a predicament, facing a large, mysterious figure who doesn't seem to want to talk to her. At this point, her only real choice is to run and then figure out what else she's going to do. So my question for you is, what is Corey going to try to do to escape or defeat this mysterious warrior?